The Object was a film I made that I wasn't expecting to be as good as it was. It was just a simple project to start off a serious note for films I'd like to make, not just something comedic like I used to make, something proper, something I could say, look, I'm a director.
Probably it's different from what Nick usually puts out, really. I'd say that's probably what makes it. That's what makes it what it is.
It's quite a fascinating story for such a short one because it's got a lot of scope in it. Not a lot of dialogue, but a lot of storyline, plotline within the story itself.
And then I never expected it to hit off like it has and have all these films following it and making this universe that we're creating for it. I think what appealed to me so much about The Object is, well, one, I'm not in it. No, it's the first proper film that I did where I just directed it and I simply just focused on directing it, doing it properly. I storyboarded it and everything. I did every shot as I wanted to do it. I think I actually did it without a script. I just had this short story and literally storyboarded it, and I followed the storyboards as I shot it.
And it has a great deal of storyline in for such a short film, and it's very clever the way it actually portrays such a lot in such a short space of time.
Because there was no dialogue in The Object, it was easier to follow it with storyboards rather than having a script and a storyboard. It was just kind of like following the images and following the movement, and it worked. I think the reason people liked The Object is because it just, not to toot my own horns here, it looked professional, it was shot properly, the whole eyes on the third, and the music worked well in sync with the footage, even though it was taken off YouTube for that exact reason. But it was a short film that people didn't have to get into, they could just watch it and appreciate it for what it was, and it just worked, I think.
When it was suggested to me that there might be a sequel to this short film, I thought maybe at first this could possibly detract from the piece itself because it is its own end. But when I realised that it was going to entail not really a sequel in the true sense of the word, but more even a prequel with similar events that only loosely related to it, and I thought possibly it would get away with it as a series of short films with a similar theme.
After we made The Object and I edited it and showed it to people, Harvey came up to me and said, what about making a sequel?
I had a specific idea in mind for doing a sequel to The Object. It was very basic. It started off as just a series idea, like we do it as a series instead of a movie. And it starts with a completely different person but in similar situation, and as the series progresses he meets someone who knows what this object sort of does or what it represents, and these people who want to gain hold of the object and to use it.
It was going to be different to what it is now, but if it wasn't for Harvey kind of like giving me these inspirations for making a second Object film and kind of like proving to me that this is look, people want to see this, it would work. Because I always had the idea of just having the object as the object and that'll be it. It had no explanation, it was just going to be a piece of art that you could just watch.
Then Fear Inside came along.
think after Harvey nattering at me constantly, I could see why a sequel would be needed. But one thing I wasn't going to jump into was Objects 2. I wanted to do something first that was going to be set within the same universe, so to speak, and be related to the Object, first film, but not necessarily, you don't have to watch The Object to watch The Fear Inside.
Well, The Fear Inside is kind of different to what The Object was, but because it's not really about finding this stone thing and going back in time as such. So it's different on many levels.
The difference between The Object and The Fear Inside, let's say, firstly, The Fear Inside is very much more scripted, far more dialogue, not a great deal more plotline as such, but it's filmed in a different way. It's got more people in it, it's got more characters, it's got more characterization, and it's enough different to put it to one side. But, as I said before, because it's got the similar theme running through, it's a standalone movie on its own too, it is quite effective.
The Fear Inside and The Object, funny enough, were both scripts. They weren't even scripts, they were stories I wrote for an English GCSE course while I was at college, because I'm a retard. I had to retake English twice, in fact, at college, because I missed an exam once. It's a funny story. And funny enough, The Fear Inside was written before The Object, and The Object always stuck in my mind for filming it, and I thought, well, if I'm going to do a film based on a short story, I might as well do both of them.
You've got the initial story. There's a family involved, which happens to have my character before the events of The Object. This one's also different because it's supposed to have three separate endings. So that's going to be unique to watch. And only one of those actually ties in with The Object and the rest of the series of films that follow. So yeah, I hope everyone picks the right one.
The Fear Inside, when we started filming, it wasn't even going to be a sequel to The Object or going to be related to it at all. It was going to be a standalone film, and I kind of decided at the end of the day, no, not at the end of the day, halfway through filming, that I was going to create a new ending that would link to The Object and it would follow, and I just kind of had these spanning ideas for making a kind of series of short films that are all connected and that would all lead to one conclusion.
That's lucky. From all that yelling, we thought you'd go insane.
Trust me, if I had gone insane,
The Fear Inside is another unique standpoint for me because it's obviously the first interactive film I've made in the way that you can choose the ending to the film you want, and obviously I came up with the first two endings. One's by me, the ending where he goes on the run was by me. The ending where it turns, it turns out it's insinuated that he's behind the disappearances is by my dad. He came up with the idea. And then the third Object ending, which we came up with halfway through filming, I just came up with the spot, and because Harvey kept badgering on about me about making a follow-up to The Object, and we filmed all three of those endings on the same day, because obviously they all have the same opening sequence that will lead to a conclusion that starts off at a certain point from when the door bashes down.
Well, I gather that there's an idea in mind to carry on in the same theme and do another totally unrelated short movie, which is set sometime between the two, that has references to the object once more, but isn't directly related to either film. I also know for a fact that the object is going to have a sequel, and that part of it is written already. And I've read some of it, and it looks as if it's going to be pretty good.
Well, it started off it started off for me pretty weird. The object, I didn't entirely know what was going on with the object. I knew what I was doing with the fear inside, but that still left me with more questions than answers. I still have no idea what I'm doing, what I'm going to do, so it will be interesting to see what the next film's all about, if it even has me, because I know what the title of the next film is. I'm not going to say, but I know it doesn't involve me in particular, because it isn't, say, The Object 2 or something like that. But that said, I did appear in The Fear Inside, so will I appear in this one? I hope to, and if I do, I hope it'll be as interesting as the other two were.
When we started off, The Object was going to be standalone, and so was The Fear Inside, and then when we decided to combine two, we created The Object Verse, which is going to be this series of short films. We have The Object, The Fear Inside, number 3, which is going to be another standalone film which links to the preview, the first one, and then we're going to have what I can't really say is technically the second Object film, but relates to all 4. It's kind of like the first 3 films all come head to head, and this is the conclusion to all of them. I literally came up with the idea, when we started filming Fear Inside, I started coming up with the idea of Object 2.0 as it is at the moment, and I wrote like 12 pages in about, I don't know, an hour, and that's like practically half the script already. It's just one of these immense conclusions that's just like, you can really see it hurling to the end, and it's just epic, and you'll just have to wait to see.
Well, I'd like to see my character resolved in as much as he be back with his family, be happy again, and the events that took place within the film side, and also carrying on to The Object, was somehow resolved to a happy ending.
I wouldn't mind seeing him develop a bit more in future films. Like, he has some sort of awareness now. Like, say after The Object, he's sort of aware of certain scenarios, situations, certain events, certain people. That would be cool to see. That he has a more the word escapes me for a minute. But he sort of has a bigger understanding. He has a bigger understanding of the world around him. So I wouldn't mind seeing something like that in the next few films.
Let's put it this way. You have The Object, which is the stand in the middle. Then you have The Fear Inside, which is before. Then you'll have the third film, which, dare I say it, is set at the same time as The Object. They're both running along the same timeline but are different circumstances. And then you have the fourth film, which is the conclusion, that's set after. So we've got the original in the middle, then we've got past, present, future. I can't tell you anything about the third film so far because we're still developing it, but it will have a female lead and it will deal with the ability she develops, and yes, The Object will appear in it.